got the Undertaker, number 11th ranked David Dvorak, facing off against a man that you slighted just a little bit in our last week's program, and number 12 ranked Raulian Paiva, man. Listen, this is going to be a really technical battle, AJ. I'm calling this off of the bat. This is going to be a masterclass in terms of just boxing, kickboxing. But there's one main difference that I want to talk about, and I really want to gauge your opinion on this, AJ. So the question that I have for you off the bat is, when it comes down to a technical battle and you have a rangy, long striker who can just kind of volume you up versus a power striker who is also very technical, who do you think generally has the advantage when it comes down to those two type of fighters? Not saying these fighters, but just in general, talking about these types of fighters.
In general, big blanket statement, I think I'd always give the advantage to the technician. They always said that, I believe it was you're the one that quoted this on this show, Derek, Tim Duncan is the ultimate
The big fundamental.
that Mr. Fundamental. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Fundamentals, technique, that's what it comes down to. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to win you almost every, or the majority of your matches is technique. How to, the mechanics are right. You know how to do your thing. So I'd give the advantage to that. But the only thing though, is that X factor of that power, man. You get clipped right on the button. Your body's a machine after all, and you're going to go to sleep. But overall, I'd give the advantage to the technician. What do you think?
Well, let's talk judging really quickly as I incorporate that into this answer, because when you're just watching a fight and you're seeing two dudes going toe for toe, tit for tat, right? And they're getting it, they're getting after it, but one dude just landing slightly harder. For an example, Rogerio Bontorin versus Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell was landing, but it just felt like it was pillow punches. Every time he was touching, it was just kind of pillow punches. When Bontorin would hit him, Schnell would be like, oh God, So when it's like that, that's what I view this fight being like David Dvorak versus Raulian Paiva. Paiva's rangy, he's long. Don't get me wrong, man. He's got this very deceptive type of power. So if he just hits you, like he actually, believe it or not, he hit Rogerio Bontorin with a left hook that dropped him prior to him getting his eyebrow sliced open in the fight having to get called. But nonetheless, I just think that David Dvorak has that extra element where every time he hits you, it hurts. Let's not forget this man is on a 15-fight win streak. He's 19-3 overall, but Paiva is 20-3, so it's very similar on paper. And I actually believe that this fight is very, very similar in terms of just on paper, right? So the biggest difference is that Paiva has a 3-inch height advantage, so he's just going to be a little taller. And Paiva is really big for the division as well. But nonetheless, almost identical reach, 68, 69 inches. Strikes landed per minute, 4.5 for both of them, roughly at about a 45% clip for both of them, man. This is going to be a technical battle, man. So when it comes down to it, I noted that David Dvorak is heavy on his lead leg, and that's going to be something that Raulian Paiva can exploit. Do you think that is the one weakness that David Dvorak has? Because when I watch him, I don't see many weaknesses. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would think that. I really like David Dvorak, man. He keeps a high guard. He has great pressure. I love his attack style, man. He'll feint, leg kick, feint, leg kick, feint, leg kick, and every now and then he'll throw a bomb, and he's got serious power. So I really like him, man. He's a good fighter. If I had to nitpick on anything, yeah, I would agree with that. He does stay a little heavy on that front leg, but it's because he's putting pressure, and when pressure's coming down the pipe, and you just keep getting tagged, it's hard, man. It's really hard to counteract that. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, so I definitely think that that's like the main hole. Like I said, I don't see too many weaknesses with David Dvorak. Neither of these fighters really want to take it to the ground, but Paiva does say, he was all like, listen, man, at the end of the day, like if this dude like wants to go to the ground, I'll use my jiu-jitsu. Let's not forget Paiva. I mean, he's got 3 submission wins. Dvorak has 7, right? Dvorak's more of a finisher than Paiva is, but nonetheless, I wanted to talk about this quote really quickly, AJ, from one of our favorite fighters, because this is just kind of similar to me, right? Because I noted that David Dvorak, he has the timing and the power. That's what I give to him. I give the speed and the precision to Raulian Paiva. Now, this is the quote. This is by Groovy Lando Venata, AJ. The quote goes as such: "Rhythm beats speed, rhythm beats power, rhythm precedes precision, rhythm is everything in combat. Know your opponent's rhythm and cultivate a rhythm of your own that they can't comprehend." And I thought that was really telling, because I was like, I never really thought about that aspect of the game, because that is kind of true, right? If you can just kind of get your rhythm, get your flow going, and make it to where your opponent can't gauge that rhythm, you know what I mean? He can't really get into that flow. That's what we talk about often, right? Don't let these fighters get into their flow state. So with that being said, man, who has the rhythm advantage in this fight, AJ?
Man, I really like that, because it's true, man. You get somebody, and we're all rhythm, you get somebody a little unsynced. It feels weird. You feel off, vibrations and all that hippie jazz. But personally, I give that little rhythm advantage to Dvorak. I liked his flow a little bit better. For me, I was actually giving Paiva the power advantage. I think he was a little more flat-footed. He has that kind of Brazilian style where he'll walk you down and he can bang. That's a big thing. But if Dvorak kind of gets moving and is able to play his game, it's going to be a long night, especially because Paiva is down to play tag.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's down to let you hit him. He's like, come on, man, let's do this. So it'll make for an interesting one. But I'd give that advantage to Dvorak. Who do you give the advantage to?
So believe it or not, I was actually going to give that to Paiva, man, because Paiva has this good like sense of like kind of cutting off the cage, not really following you around. You know what I mean? And just kind of, you know, here, there, range, and it's the range. That's what it is, man. He's long. He's just so big for the weight class. This is 125 pounds, dude. This dude is 5'8". This is just 4 inches shorter than me fighting at 125 pounds. Like that to me, that's just crazy because sometimes you'll be like a 5'8" bantamweight. Like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but this is a flyweight. Nonetheless, man, I just want to kind of note out that notable wins by these fighters, right? For David Dvorak, you have Justin Espinosa, right? You know, he hasn't been doing too hot in the UFC so far, but this dude's a gamer, right? Bruno Silva, who got the big win over JP Buys. That's definitely a big win. And then for Raulian Paiva, our boy, or not necessarily our boy, but I'm a big fan of this dude who's about to fight our other boy, right? Zalgis Zumagulov, right, who is about to fight Jerome Rivera in just a couple of weeks, man. Shout out. Santa Fe, New Mexico represent. You know what I'm saying? But this is a Kazakhstanian who has nothing to play with. So that's a big win. And then Mark De La Rosa having a win over that. I mean, those are pretty big, right? So I think let's just wrap this one up, man. I will say, because I completely forgot for the last one, but I promise I'm on it from here on out. Minus 155 favorite is David the Undertaker Dvorak with the plus 130 comeback of Raulian Paiva. And lastly, before you give me your pick, man, I just want to note this out because I think it's kind of cool. David Dvorak's nickname is the Undertaker because he was literally a mortician. That was his day job. He was literally an Undertaker. So shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? But give me your pick, AJ. Who are you going with?
Shout out. Real quick, I wanted to add, Derek, 5'8", fighting at 125. I'm 5'8", and I weigh 170.
Yeah,
that's absolutely insane that this dude's fighting at that weight class, man. That's fucking crazy. But personally, you said it before. I slid him a little bit last week, but I got to go with him this week. I'm going Paiva, KO, round 2. I don't think either fighter has much to worry about as far as takedowns. I'm really hoping for a crazy battle back and forth because these dudes can bring it. Who you got and why, Derek?
I think that this like has all the makings for it. Like it could be a fight of the night, but I don't think it will be. And the reason why is because I think that this is going to be a very technical battle where sometimes one of them might not want to go, and it's going to be a lot of looking in the mirror and a lot of just sitting there, just faint. You know, that Mike Perry, just faint. You know what I mean? Just all that, right? So I'm going David Dvorak, unanimous decision. I think he gets the job done, man. But it's going to be a good fight. This is a really good matchup, and I think this matchup was slated a couple weeks ago or something, got canceled, and now that's why we're here on this card. But nonetheless, let's.